Jessica, we were saying something in the break that I think it is vitally important that we revisit, which is how and why Reverend Warnock is Senator Warnock right now.
Yeah, in 2020, this was a runoff race again for both Ossoff and Warnock's seat. I moved to Georgia and it was insane how many people threw their entire lives into getting Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff their Senate seats. Raphael Warnock being the first black senator from Georgia, Ossoff being the youngest senator. These were really important seats to get, and everyone, Black Voters Matter, groups that were doing community organizing, turned their efforts to the election cycle, worked so hard, and allowed them to run on this message: $2,000 checks out the door if they get in office. We're actually gonna get something materially done to make working people's lives better. And what happened the moment they got in? They said, well, we got what we wanted, we got the majority. It took months and a lot of convincing and a lot of direct action, a lot of phone calls to get $1,400 checks. And so they completely played these guys by allowing them to go into their communities and say, we promise this is happening, and then have this be the result.
And it was at the height of the pandemic too. Let us not forget that a lot of folks at that time, Jessica, did not have the luxury to wait. And they really made liars out of both candidates that won the seats, Ossoff and Warnock. They really made liars out of them because they absolutely did not deliver on that at a time of immense crisis. And we find ourselves again, because those two seats were vitally important to them gaining the majority, notwithstanding Sinema and Manchin and some of them other people, Jessica, that's hiding behind Sinema and Manchin. But then to fast forward to this 2022 and to have some neoliberals that just have a cavalier attitude. Part of the problem, Jessica, is that a lot of folks in the media, a lot of these pundits, whether it's social media or whether it's mainstream media, they do not have a working class consciousness. That's part of the problem. Because if you had a working class consciousness coupled with consciousness about race, caste, and class, then you would not make the cavalier statements that not just that Kyle has made, other folks are making those comments as well, because it's a zero-sum game for them. For some of these folks, it really doesn't matter, Jessica, who's there or not. Just any old Democrat will do or not, because in the case, let's check the boxes. We got what we wanted. So whether Warnock wins or not, no, it's no bother to us.
Yeah, it's just so disgusting. And the complicating factor is, he could have won by a landslide if those $2,000 checks went out the door right when they said they would, when they got into the office, when they got into office and went into the Senate. If that was the first thing that they voted on and they got it done, Warnock could have been much more popular. Perhaps voters wouldn't have been disillusioned. We all were told to go out and vote for Raphael Warnock, then he got into office and the promise didn't come through. If it did right away, those people could have turned out again against Herschel Walker and voted for Raphael Warnock again. Like, the Democratic Party is very responsible for making working people not show up and vote. And they always want to blame progressives for splitting the vote and sowing this kind of detestment for any kind of politician that doesn't work for them. But it's valid. If Democrats just delivered policies that benefited working people and dismantled systems of oppression, they wouldn't have to struggle for votes. We wouldn't be in a runoff situation right now.
That's right, increasing the minimum wage. How about that? They blamed that on a parliamentarian, an unelected parliamentarian did not get that done. The George Floyd Policing Act did not get that done. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act did not get that done. Did something tremendous, which is to pass a child tax credit, only to let it expire and not be able to renew it. Yeah, folks need some material things changing in their lives. They sick and tired of being lied to. And Jessica, a lot of the organizations that really pushed to help get both of those senators elected, they questioned whether or not in 2022 they were going to be able to do it again because of the fact that the Democrats did not deliver material change. Let that sink in.